If you've dabbled in the world of VHS collecting at all, you're probably familiar with feature films for families. This company is known for some of the most famous straight-to-video movies maybe of all time, like Bach's Fight for Freedom, Where the Red Fern Grows, and the Buttercream Gang. Overall, they released at least 93 films in 26 years. Now, I'm saying at least because there really isn't an exact number I could find online, but I did go onto an archive of their website and include ones that I'm aware of. While many are aware of their films, sometimes unknowingly, you probably haven't heard of the story of this company. And if you haven't, strap in. This is a story of VHS tapes, low-budget movies, and lawsuits. Lots of lawsuits. And obviously, there's no better place to start than
in the beginning.
Feature Films for Families, FFFF for short, was founded by Forrest S. Baker III in 1988. His mission in starting the company was to release movies appropriate for the entire family to watch that deliver moral values, as he himself was a devout Christian. I sat through a couple movies myself for this video, specifically Bach's Fight for Freedom, The Buttercream Gang, and The Santa Trap. And I can confirm these are as clean as a movie can get. Also, some of these plots are absolutely nuts. Let's take a look at the plot for The Santa Trap. This is coming straight from the Google description of it, by the way. Santa Claus winds up in jail after a 7-year-old sets a trap in order to prove his existence to her family. I also think it should be noted that these movies are not religious in the slightest. Now, there really isn't a first film that they made because they primarily sold their tapes via mail order, but some early tapes I could find are the previously mentioned Buttercream Gang, which is considered their most popular, In Your Wildest Dreams, and Rigoletto. In fact, according to an article written by Audrey Fox on Crick and Markey, they would just kind of call people asking if they wanted to receive kid-friendly movies and then continue calling if they bought it the first time around. Which, if I'm being honest, that sounds like the 90s equivalent to modern spam callers. These calls did actually seem to work, though, as these tapes did gain a bit of popularity. I mean, if they didn't, I wouldn't have any of them, nor would I be making this video, so. The tapes are a hit amongst parents looking for movies for their young children. I mean, how could they not be? Comparing these to some of the other G-rated tapes on my VHS shelf, these are so much lighter somehow. And they just kept pumping them out so fast. Matching that with repetitive phone calls to parents desperate to find anything for their kids. It was like printing money. However, it was these calls that would lead us into our next section.
Hey, I got you something! It's a lawsuit!
As time went on, people started to notice some of the scummy sides of this company. Specifically, the spam phone calls. Although the company had good intentions, it was starting to get them into some trouble, specifically with the law, as it broke the telemarketing sales rule. For those who aren't familiar, the telemarketing sales rule is basically just a list of guidelines written by the FTC restricting things like calls made without consent, not giving accurate caller ID information, and how payments are handled. This actually reminds me a lot of Jamster, which was a ringtone company that would charge $5.99 a week, which was almost completely hidden at the bottom of the screen. They would then send spam texts, and the way to tell them to stop was also hidden. This led to Jamster receiving a $1.2 million lawsuit. But here's the thing. From what I've read so far, there was no way to stop these feature films for families call. So really, it was as spammy as a spam call could get. This led to piles of lawsuits. One notable one being for a collaboration with the Dove Corporation, which enabled them to make all these calls. This is because the Dove Corporation is a non-profit, which made it really easy to get around some of these laws. In 2010, a lawsuit came in from Verizon estimating 500,000 calls were placed to promote their movie The Velveteen Rabbit in, well, actually, I'm not telling you. It's time for a game. How many days did it take for 500,000 calls to be made? A. 30. B. 27. C. 10. Or D. 50. If you guessed 10, you would be correct. Another lawsuit from the FTC themselves came in 2011, estimating a total of, for their movies overall, of 100 million calls. They also just straight up broke the law too, calling people that were on the, and I cannot believe that this is a real thing that exists, National Do Not Call Registry. They also lied about the profit, saying it would go to the Coalition for Children's Quality Media for a Kids First viewing list, instead keeping 93% of the profit for co-defendants. In 2016, this case was brought to trial, revealing they had game time! How many telemarketing violations should feature films for family make? A. 100. B. 117 million. C. 100,000. Or D, 700, yeah, it was 117 million. Eventually, it was decided that they would have to pay $500,000, which kind of put the company into a financial hole, which they never recovered from.
Which grade are you? First grade. I'm in first grade.
So, after the lawsuit, some stuff happened. For one, alleged former employees said, and take this with a grain of salt because I have no idea if this is true, that they would guilt trip people in their call amidst the Columbine shooting, saying that the reason that stuff happens is violent media. They also allegedly did this with customers in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. And with the Hurricane Katrina calls, I don't even think they made any reasons other than it happened. Something else the company tried to do to keep it afloat was make a streaming service for the movies, which I have no clue if that worked, but I assume not. Because now, if you try to go onto their website, it doesn't work. This is because after the unfortunate death of Forrest S. Baker III, the company just kind of disappeared. They made a single Facebook post, and that was it. And now, you know the full story of feature films for families. So, that's the entire story of feature films for families. For being a straight-to-video movie company, it is absolutely bonkers to me how much happened involving this company. Anyways, thank you for watching this far. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing, and maybe leaving a comment. I never see anything down there, and I really would like to. And as always, I will see you next time.